Ethan Cole wiped the sweat from his brow as he stepped carefully through the dense alien jungle. The sun of planet Cytherian barely filtered through the thick emerald canopy above. Strange sounds echoed around him, some like whispers of wind, others like distant cries of unknown creatures. The human doctor had been sent here on a research mission, studying the medicinal properties of Cytherian's exotic plants. He had prepared for strange terrain, unfamiliar ecosystems, and even odd gravity. But nothing could have prepared him for the sight that suddenly lay ahead. A shriek tore through the jungle, sharp and desperate. Ethan froze. The sound was like nothing he had ever heard before, half pained, half frightened. Without thinking, he sprinted toward it, pushing aside vines and leaping over twisted roots. Soon he came upon a clearing. There, sprawled on the soft moss, was a creature unlike any he had ever seen. The being was humanoid, but taller and more graceful than any human. Her skin shimmered faintly in shades of pale blue, and her eyes were a brilliant golden hue. Her hair fell like liquid silver, tangled and dirty from the fall. She was bleeding from a deep gash across her shoulder, and her breathing was shallow and irregular. Ethan's medical instincts kicked in immediately. "Stay calm," he murmured to himself as he knelt beside her. "You can do this." He reached into his kit, pulling out antiseptics and bandages. His hand steady despite the racing of his heart. The princess, for he soon realized she must be someone important, barely opened her eyes. Her golden gaze met his, filled with pain and fear. A faint musical voice escaped her lips, speaking in a language Ethan did not understand. Yet in her tone he sensed urgency, pleading, even trust. "I don't know your language," Ethan said gently, "but I can help you. I can save you." He worked quickly, cleaning the wound, stopping the bleeding, and applying a makeshift dressing. His human tools and knowledge seemed basic compared to the alien world around them, but he focused on what he knew best: healing. Time seemed to stretch endlessly. Every rustle in the bushes, every distant roar set Ethan's nerves on edge. He realized the princess was unconscious again, her breathing shallow. He gently lifted her into his arms, careful not to hurt her further, and scanned the jungle for a path back to the base camp. That was when movement caught his eye. Shadows flitted among the giant ferns. He froze. Was it another predator? Or attackers? His mind raced. Whoever had harmed her once might return. Ethan's grip on her tightened. He had no weapons, only his intelligence, his quick thinking, and the makeshift tools in his medical bag. Suddenly, a rustle grew louder, closer. Ethan pressed the princess to his chest and stepped carefully back toward a safer path. A group of figures emerged, tall, armored, and menacing, their faces hidden behind reflective helmets. Ethan's heart pounded, but he did not panic. Instead, he studied them carefully, noting their movement and spacing. "Stay calm, Liara," he whispered. Somehow the name had come to him. He could sense it in her mind, in her very presence. The figures stopped, scanning the clearing. They spoke in a harsh, guttural language. Ethan could not understand the words, but the tone was clear. Threat. He realized he had only one chance. Using his knowledge of biology and observation, he grabbed a handful of nearby plants, quickly crushing leaves into a smelly, sticky paste. He flung it toward the figure's feet. The pungent smell was overwhelming. They recoiled, coughing and swatting at the air. Taking advantage of the distraction, Ethan darted toward the path leading out of the jungle, holding Liara tightly. He did not know if the creatures could track him, but every step mattered. Soon the sounds faded behind him, replaced by the distant hum of a hovering vehicle. Relief flooded him. Ethan had not realized he had reached the Royal Zeleri research outpost, a small station run by allied scientists from various worlds. His team rushed out when they saw him, astonished to see him carrying an alien of royal bearing. "She's alive?" one of the scientists asked. Ethan nodded, careful not to jostle her. "Yes, but she's badly injured. We need full medical attention. Now." They guided him inside, where advanced alien medical equipment hummed and glowed. Ethan carefully laid Liara on a soft biobed. For the first time, he allowed himself to observe her fully. Her delicate features were marred by scratches and bruises, but the glow of her skin was returning slowly. She was breathing more steadily thanks to his field treatment. Within moments, communication drones arrived, projecting a holographic image of the King of Zelaria himself. The humanoid king was regal, with pale teal skin and eyes that glimmered like sapphires. His expression was a mixture of anger, concern, and curiosity. "Who are you?" the king demanded, his voice resonating through the room. And how did my daughter come to be in such peril? Ethan stood straight despite his exhaustion. I am Ethan Cole, a human doctor from Earth. I found Princess Liara injured in the jungle and treated her to the best of my ability. I do not know why she was attacked, but I will continue to care for her. There was silence. Then slowly the king's stern expression softened slightly. A human has saved my daughter. No Zalari could stabilize her in time? Ethan shook his head. She needed immediate care. I only did what anyone would do if they were able. I have no desire for reward. I only wish to see her survive. The king studied him carefully. The room was tense. Finally, he nodded. Your courage is unusual for your species. Very well. You shall remain here and continue your work. Know this. Zalaria values life above all else. You have shown respect for it, and that earns my trust. Ethan exhaled slowly, relief washing over him. But the danger was not yet gone. Liara's injury had been deliberate. Someone had wanted her dead. As Ethan checked the equipment, he noticed subtle anomalies in the readings. There were traces of alien toxins in her system, unlike anything the Zalari doctors had encountered before. He realized that saving her once might not be enough. The attackers could return, more cunning and determined than before. He set to work, carefully analyzing the toxins, creating a treatment plan that blended human ingenuity with alien medicine. Hours passed. Ethan's hands moved steadily, almost automatically as he worked to stabilize her further. Every so often, Liara's golden eyes flickered open. She tried to speak, and though he did not understand her language, he sensed gratitude and trust in her gaze. You are brave, she said softly, her voice trembling but clear. Ethan smiled faintly. And you are strong. You'll survive this. For the first time, he felt the weight of responsibility, not just as a doctor, but as someone who had earned the trust of an entire alien civilization. The jungle, the attackers, the unknown dangers, they all seemed distant compared to the task of saving this extraordinary being. As night fell over Zetherian, the jungle outside quieted, and the stars twinkled faintly in the alien sky. Ethan remained by Liara's side, monitoring her vitals and adjusting treatments. He could feel the pulse of the alien world around him, vibrant and alive. And in that moment he understood something profound. Humans were underestimated across the galaxy. Their courage, adaptability, and determination could achieve what others might consider impossible. And now, in the heart of an alien kingdom, one human had done just that. The palace of Zalaria was unlike anything Ethan had ever seen. Towering crystalline spires shimmered with every color of the spectrum, reflecting the alien sun in patterns that seemed almost alive. The air hummed softly, carrying scents unfamiliar to human senses, a mix of sweet blossoms and sharp minerals. As he walked through the grand corridors carrying his medical equipment, Ethan felt both awe and nervousness. He was a stranger here, a human among an alien species that had existed for thousands of years. Yet he had saved the princess, and that was no small feat. Liara lay on a bio-bed in a spacious chamber filled with soft light and advanced medical devices. Her golden eyes tracked Ethan as he approached, and though she was still weak, she smiled faintly. "Good morning, Liara," Ethan said softly. "How are you feeling today?" She attempted to speak, her voice weak, but Ethan could not understand the alien words. Instead, he observed her expressions, gestures, and body language. Even in a language he could not comprehend, her trust was clear. "Don't worry," he said. "I'll do everything I can. Just stay calm." The palace doctors, a group of Zalari physicians with long silver robes and luminescent tools, watched him carefully. They were skeptical, but they did not speak. Ethan noticed their glances, a mixture of curiosity and doubt. Despite their advanced technology, they seemed unsure of the humans' methods. Ethan began his work. He adjusted alien medical monitors, administered a carefully measured serum, and performed delicate procedures to remove the remaining toxins from her system. His hands moved confidently, guided by his understanding of anatomy, medicine, and human intuition. "You are precise," one of the Zalari doctors finally said. "Your knowledge of biology is different but effective." Ethan smiled faintly. "I focus on understanding what I see. Every patient is different, every body unique. That's all I need to know." Hours passed. Ethan worked tirelessly, mixing alien compounds with techniques from human medicine, creating treatments that seemed to blend science and instinct. Liara's condition slowly improved. The wounds on her shoulder closed, her breathing steadied, and the faint glow of her skin returned. She began to speak in broken words, fragments of her language, and Ethan used gestures and expressions to communicate back. "You are healer," she said finally, her voice gaining strength. "Human clever," Ethan chuckled softly. "I'm just trying my best." "You're the brave one," the king observed from a holographic projection in the room, his expression unreadable. He remained silent, but Ethan could feel the weight of his gaze. Saving the princess had gained him respect, but this was an alien king and respect had to be earned continuously. Over the next few days, Ethan adapted to palace life. He learned the basics of Zalari medical devices, which were far more advanced than anything on Earth. Yet, he found that his human approach, observation, improvisation, and care was often more effective than rigid protocol. The palace doctors began to cooperate, cautiously accepting his suggestions. One evening, as the twin moons of Zalaria rose in the sky, Ethan noticed Liara sitting up for the first time. Her golden eyes shone with curiosity and a hint of mischief. "Can I walk?" she asked, her words hesitant but clear. "Careful," Ethan said, standing beside her. "We'll go slow." With his support, she took small steps across the chamber. Her movements were graceful even in weakness, and Ethan marveled at the agility and strength of her species. As they walked, Liara's curiosity grew. She asked questions, pointing at the machines and devices around the room. Though Ethan could not understand her language fully, he explained with gestures, diagrams, and simple words. "You mix medicine?" she asked. "Yes," Ethan replied. "I use what I know and what I see. That helps you heal faster." Liara smiled faintly, and for the first time, Ethan felt a connection beyond patient and doctor. There was mutual respect, trust, and a shared understanding. Yet amidst the recovery, Ethan discovered a troubling truth. While reviewing her blood samples and analyzing the traces of toxins, he realized that the attack on Liara had been deliberate and planned. The poison in her system was designed not just to harm, but to weaken her mind and body, making her vulnerable to kidnappers or assassins. Ethan's brow furrowed. He shared his concern with the king via the hologram. "Your daughter's injuries are not accidental. Someone intends to strike again, and soon. I recommend increased security and precautions." The king's eyes narrowed. "So the traitors are bold enough to attack the palace itself. Human, your wisdom is valuable. We will heed your warning." In the following days, the palace prepared for possible threats. Zalari guards increased patrols, and security systems hummed and glowed with heightened vigilance. Ethan continued to work with Liara, teaching her basic self-care, health awareness, and defensive thinking. He realized that true healing involved not only mending her body, but also preparing her mind to face danger. During one session, Liara reached out and held Ethan's hand. Though her touch was light, it carried immense trust and gratitude. "You help me. Safe," she said. Ethan nodded, feeling a deep sense of responsibility. "I promise. I will not let anything happen to you." As the days passed, the palace staff grew to admire Ethan's dedication. Unlike many Zalari doctors, he did not act superior or arrogant. He observed, listened, and adapted. His human qualities, compassion, perseverance, and ingenuity earned him respect and even friendship. One morning, as Ethan prepared Liara for a short walk in the palace gardens, the king called him to a private chamber. Ethan approached with caution, unsure what the king might demand. "You have done more than heal my daughter," the king said, his voice calm but commanding. "You have shown wisdom, courage, and respect for life. These are qualities I value highly. Humans are underestimated across the galaxy, yet you have proven their worth." Ethan bowed slightly. "Thank you, Your Majesty." "I only do what I can," the king nodded. "Your work here is far from over. There are forces that wish harm upon my kingdom and my daughter, but for now your skill and care are recognized. Continue your healing, and know that Zalaria owes you a debt of gratitude." Ethan left the chamber with a mixture of relief and pride. It was the first time he felt truly appreciated, not just as a human, but as an individual. The king's recognition was not about race or species. It was about courage, intelligence, and compassion. Back in the garden chamber, Liara was waiting, her golden eyes curious. "Human, strong," she said simply. Ethan smiled. "Not stronger than you. You're recovering fast. You're brave." For the first time, they shared a moment of quiet laughter. It was strange, comforting, and full of hope. Outside, the palace gardens were filled with alien flora, glowing softly in the moonlight. Birds with radiant feathers sang melodies Ethan had never heard. The scene was otherworldly, yet somehow serene. Ethan realized that healing Liara was more than a duty. It was a bridge between worlds. In saving her, he had gained trust, friendship, and a glimpse of the extraordinary potential of humans. His species, often underestimated, could achieve great things with courage, intelligence, and care. As the night deepened, Ethan remained at Liara's side. He checked her vitals, adjusted treatments, and whispered gentle reassurances. Somewhere in the palace, the king observed from afar, noting the human doctor's unwavering dedication. Soon the kingdom would face new challenges, but Ethan felt ready. He had earned the trust of the Zeleri, and that trust would become a foundation for the battles ahead. Above all, he knew one thing clearly. Saving the princess was only the beginning. The jungle attack had been a warning. The palace of Zelaria had never seemed more alive. Its glowing spires reflected the early morning sun, painting the halls in golds, blues, and greens. But beneath the beauty, tension simmered. Ethan Cole had spent days observing subtle signs, unusual activity near the outer perimeter, strange drone readings, and shifts in the guard rotations. Something was coming, and he could feel it. Liara, now stronger and more alert, walked beside him in the training chambers. Her golden eyes sparkled with determination, and though she still bore faint scars from her injuries, she moved with elegance and confidence. Ethan adjusted her posture, showing her how to balance her weight, brace herself, and anticipate sudden movements. "You must be ready," he said gently. "If they come, you cannot rely on guards alone. You need awareness and quick thinking." Liara nodded, understanding more from his tone than his words. She moved through the exercises with precision, her grace matching her strength. Even as a princess, she was learning to be a warrior in her own right. Outside the palace, the rival faction was preparing. Shrouded in darkness, a group of Zeleri dissenters equipped with advanced weaponry plotted to strike. Their goal was simple: kidnap Liara and destabilize the kingdom. But they underestimated one thing. Ethan Cole, a human fragile in appearance but sharp in mind, had already proven that his species was capable of remarkable ingenuity. As dusk approached, the palace's security alarms began to hum. Ethan had been monitoring them, and he was ready. He led the palace guards in a careful formation, explaining strategies that combined human logic and Zeleri tactics. "They will try to distract you first," he said. "Do not panic. Observe, anticipate, and act with reason." The first wave of attackers arrived silently, gliding across the outer gardens. Advanced cloaking technology made them nearly invisible. But Ethan had prepared for this. He had noticed subtle disturbances in the energy fields and predicted their paths. Using a combination of reflective panel sensors and human intuition, he exposed the cloaked figures one by one. "Here," he shouted, pointing to a cluster of attackers. The guards opened fire with non-lethal energy nets, trapping them. Ethan moved quickly, using the environment to his advantage. He toppled glowing plants to block paths, creating barriers and funneling the attackers into controlled zones. Liara watched from the chamber balcony, eyes wide. She had trained with Ethan, but seeing his tactics in action was awe-inspiring. Every step he took was calculated, every move precise. Though he had no armor or weapons, he was a strategist, turning the odds in his favor. Despite their best efforts, the attackers were persistent. They adapted, using agility and strange energy tools to try to break through the defenses. Ethan observed, analyzed, and adjusted. When one attacker advanced too quickly, he used a reflective shield to redirect a high-energy beam, disabling the intruder without harm. When another tried to sneak through a side corridor, Ethan had already placed a sensor trap that immobilized him temporarily. The palace guards began to follow Ethan's lead. They moved with more confidence, relying on his guidance and strategies rather than fear. Slowly, the tide turned. The attackers were outmaneuvered, unable to anticipate the humans' clever thinking. Amid the chaos, Ethan realized that the attackers had a secondary plan, a drone capable of penetrating the inner palace. Directly threatening Liara, Without hesitation, he sprinted through the hallways, using quick calculations and instincts to intercept it. He launched an improvised electromagnetic pulse device, a mixture of human technology and Zilari components, and disabled the drone just meters away from the princess. Liara's eyes widened as she saw him, a mixture of relief and admiration. "Human, clever!" she exclaimed, her voice carrying across the chamber. Ethan smiled briefly, but there was no time to rest. "Stay here. Stay safe," he commanded, scanning for remaining threats. The attackers, now realizing their plan had failed, attempted a final push, but Ethan had anticipated it. Using mirrors, energy barriers, and careful timing, he created a maze-like path that trapped the intruders while allowing the guards to corner them safely. Within minutes, the entire assault was neutralized without a single fatality. The palace erupted in cautious relief. The king's holographic image appeared once again, this time accompanied by advisors and senior guards. His eyes were wide, a mixture of amazement and pride. "You, human," he said slowly, his voice carrying authority. "You have not only saved my daughter but defended my palace. Your intelligence and courage are extraordinary." Ethan bowed slightly. "I only did what was necessary. Your daughter's safety comes first." The king studied him for a long moment. Then he nodded. "You have proven something important. Humans may be fragile, but your mind, courage, and quick thinking surpass expectations. Zilari owes you a debt that cannot be measured in words alone." Liara approached Ethan, still supported by her renewed strength. She looked at him with a mixture of admiration and gratitude. "You saved me. You, strong. I trust you." Ethan's heart swelled with a sense of responsibility. It was not just about winning battles, it was about trust, respect, and the bond that had formed between human and alien. In that moment, he realized why humans could achieve greatness. They were underestimated, yes, but their creativity, courage, and adaptability could overcome the most impossible challenges. In the following days, Ethan worked with the palace engineers and scientists to strengthen defenses. Combining human logic with Zilari technology, he designed early warning systems, improved guard training, and implemented strategic layouts that ensured maximum safety. The palace had once seemed vulnerable, but now it was a fortress of intelligence, ingenuity, and cooperation. Liara, meanwhile, trained beside him. She learned not just physical skills, but analytical thinking, problem-solving, and tactical reasoning. Ethan encouraged her to question, to explore, and to trust her instincts. Under his guidance, she was becoming a formidable leader, not just a princess, but a protector of her people. One evening, after another successful day of drills and planning, Liara and Ethan stood on a balcony overlooking the city below. The lights of Zilari shimmered like a sea of stars, the twin moons casting gentle silver glows across the crystalline towers. "You teach me," Liara said softly, her golden eyes thoughtful. "Human, clever. I learn from you," Ethan nodded. "And I learn from you. Your strength, your courage, it inspires me. Together we make each other better." A soft breeze rustled through the balcony, carrying the scents of alien flowers and distant forests. For the first time, Ethan allowed himself a moment of reflection. He had come to Zetherian as a simple human doctor, unaware of the dangers that awaited. Yet through courage, intellect, and care, he had not only saved the princess but also defended an entire palace from threat. And he realized something profound. Humans were capable of far more than anyone imagined. Even in a galaxy filled with advanced civilizations and strange technologies, human ingenuity and courage could shine brighter than the stars themselves. As night fell, Ethan returned to Liara's chamber, checking her vitals one last time. She was asleep now, her breathing steady, her body healed from the immediate threats. Outside, the palace was calm, but Ethan knew that vigilance would always be necessary. The galaxy was full of dangers and enemies were never far. Yet for now, the palace was safe. The princess was safe, and a human doctor had proven that even one person, one brave, determined, and clever human, could change the course of events in an alien world. Ethan sat quietly beside her, reflecting on the day's events. The challenges had been great, but the rewards were greater. He had earned the trust of a king, the admiration of a princess, and the respect of an entire species. He had shown that humans could rise above fear, danger, and doubt to achieve greatness. And as the twin moons shone brightly over the palace, Ethan knew this was only the beginning. Greater challenges, deeper mysteries, and new adventures awaited. But he felt ready, for he had learned a truth that would guide him forever. Humans, underestimated though they may be, possess courage, ingenuity, and heart enough to change worlds. The Zalari Palace buzzed with quiet anticipation. Word of the human doctor's bravery and quick thinking had spread through the corridors like wildfire. Servants whispered in amazement, guards nodded with respect, and even the palace scholars seemed impressed. Ethan Cole walked carefully through the grand halls, carrying medical instruments and alien devices, his thoughts focused on Liara's ongoing recovery. But today, unlike other days, the air felt different. There was a tension mixed with honor, a feeling that something important was about to happen. The king had summoned him to the central chamber, a space of polished crystal floors, vast windows, and holographic displays that mapped the galaxy in real time. The chamber was grander than any place Ethan had ever entered. The ceiling seemed endless, and the walls shimmered with subtle patterns that responded to movement. "You have done well, human," the king began, his voice deep and calm, echoing slightly in the vast room. "You have not only healed my daughter, but protected her from those who wished her harm. You have proven that your species is capable of remarkable courage and intelligence." Ethan bowed respectfully. "Thank you, Your Majesty. I only did what I could to help Princess Liara. It is an honor to serve her." The king's eyes, like shining sapphires, studied him carefully. "And serve her you have. I have observed your actions for days, and your loyalty, wisdom, and bravery are rare. Therefore I wish to reward you. You may choose your reward, human, and it shall be yours." Ethan's mind raced. He had not come here for riches, glory, or titles. His purpose had always been simple: to heal, to help, to save lives. And yet, standing in front of an alien king, he realized that any choice he made could have consequences far beyond himself. "Your Majesty," he said slowly, "I am honored, but I do not seek wealth or power. My wish is simple. I want to continue caring for Princess Liara and to ensure her safety and well-being." "That is reward enough for me." The king paused, considering his words carefully. Then a slow smile appeared on his face. "You are humble yet wise. Very well. Your request shall be granted. Not only shall you remain as Princess Liara's personal advisor and protector, but I formally entrust her care to you. You will have authority, access, and my full support." Ethan felt a mixture of surprise and pride. This was not just an honor. It was a profound trust. The king was essentially giving him responsibility over the safety and future of the Zalari princess. It was a rare gift even among Zalari themselves. Later that day, Ethan visited Liara in her chamber to share the news. She was sitting by a window, gazing out at the sprawling city below, her golden eyes thoughtful. "Human," she said softly. "King, reward you?" Ethan nodded. "Yes, Liara. The king has entrusted me with your care. I will remain with you always." Her eyes widened slightly and a small smile appeared on her lips. "Trust, human, I trust you." It was the first time she had spoken those words clearly. Ethan felt a warmth in his chest, a quiet satisfaction that went beyond any reward or recognition. Trust, he realized, was the most precious thing he could earn in this alien world. Over the following days, Ethan settled into his new role. The palace began to feel more like a home, though still filled with challenges and learning. He worked closely with Liara, continuing her medical care and teaching her about human techniques that could complement Zalari science. "You see?" Ethan said one morning as they examined a small holographic map of the kingdom. "Your species has amazing technology, but sometimes, even the smallest human ideas can make a big difference. It's about observation, logic, and creativity." Liara nodded thoughtfully. "Human, clever, I learn," and learn she did. Under Ethan's guidance, she practiced defensive maneuvers, studied palace security protocols, and trained her mind to anticipate dangers before they appeared. Ethan encouraged her to question everything, to think critically, and to trust her instincts. Meanwhile, the king observed from a distance, impressed by the bond forming between human and princess. It was unlike anything he had seen. Here was a human, fragile in appearance yet capable of saving a life, defending a palace and earning the unwavering trust of the royal family. It was a reminder that strength was not always measured in size or technology, but in courage, intellect, and heart. One evening, Ethan accompanied Liara to the palace gardens. The bioluminescent plants glowed softly in the moonlight, casting a magical light across the marble paths. Liara moved gracefully among the flowers, touching petals and inhaling their fragrant scents. "Human, I feel safe," she said quietly. Ethan smiled. "Good, that's my job. But safety is not just about avoiding danger. It's about knowing how to respond, how to act, and how to think. You are learning that too." Liara turned to him, her expression serious. "I trust you. Not only save you." Clever, brave. Ethan felt a deep sense of responsibility. Trust was not something to take lightly, and he knew that protecting Liara meant more than just guarding her body. It meant guiding her, supporting her, and teaching her to become strong in her own right. Days passed, and the palace slowly regained its sense of calm. The rival faction had been neutralized, but Ethan knew that threats could arise at any moment. He worked tirelessly, improving security measures, training the guards, and creating contingency plans. Yet he also spent time with Liara, sharing knowledge, stories from Earth, and simple lessons about courage, compassion, and human resilience. "You know," Ethan said one afternoon as they walked through the palace library, "humans are often underestimated. People see our weaknesses first, our small size, our short lifespan, but we have something they often forget: creativity, courage, and determination. Those things can achieve incredible results." Liara's eyes sparkled with understanding. "Human, strong, not body. Mind, heart, you." "Show me," Ethan nodded. "Exactly. And you're learning too. Strength is more than physical power. It's knowing how to act, how to think, and how to care for others." The bond between them deepened, rooted in mutual respect and trust. It was a partnership not of equals alone, but of two beings learning from each other, growing stronger together. One morning, the king called Ethan again. "Human," he said, "your service has been exceptional. I see now that humans are more than what many expect. You have shown intelligence, bravery, and honor. I would like you to remain not only as a healer, but as an advisor to the royal family. Your knowledge, your judgment, and your courage will guide Zelaria for years to come." Ethan bowed. "I am honored, Your Majesty. I will serve to the best of my ability." The king nodded. "Good, and know this, you have my full trust. Not many are given such responsibility, human. You have earned it through action, not words. That is the measure of true worth." As Ethan left the chamber, he felt a profound sense of pride. He had come to Zetherian as a simple human doctor, yet through courage, intelligence, and compassion, he had earned not only recognition but responsibility, trust, and respect across species. That evening, he walked through the palace corridors, passing guards, scholars, and staff who all regarded him with newfound admiration. In Liara's chamber, he paused, watching her study a holographic map of the city below. "You, human, strong," she said softly, almost to herself. Ethan smiled. "Not alone, Liara, we are strong together. That is what matters." Outside, the twin moons rose over the palace, casting soft silver light across the crystal spires. The city hummed with quiet life, safe for now, but full of promise. Ethan knew challenges would come again, as they always did in a galaxy filled with wonders and dangers. Yet he felt ready, bolstered by trust, respect, and the knowledge that humans, underestimated though they might be, could rise to greatness through courage, intelligence, and heart. And so, the reward was not gold nor jewels nor titles. The reward was far greater: trust, purpose, and the ability to shape the future of a kingdom through wisdom and care. Ethan remained at Liara's side, proud, humble, and ready. For the first time, he truly understood the power of humans in a galaxy that often doubted them. He had proven that even one human, armed with courage, intelligence, and compassion, could change the course of events for an entire civilization, and that knowledge would guide him through all challenges yet to come. The days in the Zelari Palace grew brighter, not only in light but in spirit. Under the guidance of Ethan Cole, the human doctor, the kingdom was changing. He had become more than a healer. He was now a trusted advisor, a strategist, and a teacher. Princess Liara had recovered fully, her golden eyes shining with confidence, and she moved with the grace and strength of a true leader. Yet her growth was not only physical, it was a growth of mind. Courage and understanding, nurtured by the wisdom of a human who had proven that even the smallest species could achieve greatness. The palace halls were alive with activity. Scientists and engineers worked side by side with Ethan, blending human ingenuity with Zalari technology. Together, they improved the kingdom's medical systems, defensive strategies, and infrastructure. Simple human ideas like improved triage methods, observation-based patrol planning, and modular medical devices, combined with advanced Zalari tools to create a system far more effective than either species could have achieved alone. Liara often stood beside Ethan in the labs, observing, questioning, and learning. "Human," she said one morning, pointing to a series of energy readings. "Why, this method better?" Ethan smiled, kneeling to show her. "Because it focuses on patterns. The Zalari devices are advanced, yes, but sometimes the simplest observation, what you see, what you notice, can solve problems faster." "That's human thinking." Liara's eyes sparkled. "I'd see. Clever. Human." It was a small, simple exchange, yet it carried meaning far beyond the words. Liara was learning not only techniques but the value of adaptability, ingenuity, and courage. In turn, Ethan learned more about Zalari culture, science, and diplomacy than he could have imagined. As the weeks passed, the kingdom stabilized. The rival faction, having failed in their attacks, had been deterred and watched more cautiously from the shadows. The palace, now fortified with both human-inspired strategies and Zalari technology, became a symbol of unity, innovation, and vigilance. One day, as Ethan and Liara walked through the palace gardens, the king approached, flanked by his advisors. His expression was serene but commanding, as always. "Ethan Cole," the king began, his deep voice carrying easily across the courtyard. "Your efforts have transformed our kingdom. You have proven that humans are capable of greatness, that courage, intelligence, and care can rival the most advanced technology or long-standing traditions." Ethan bowed respectfully. "Thank you, Your Majesty. I only did what I could to help and protect the princess and your kingdom." The king smiled faintly. "You did far more than that. You have forged a new path, one where humans and Zalari can work together, learning from each other, achieving more than either could alone. You have my full trust now and always." Liara stepped forward, her golden eyes warm and confident. "Human, my friend, my teacher," she said. "Together. Stronger. Kingdom. Safer." Ethan smiled softly. "Yes, Liara, together." It was more than friendship. It was partnership, trust, and mutual respect. And it was a promise of the new era to come. With the king's blessing, Ethan began implementing long-term improvements across Zalaria. He trained teams of human and Zalari medics to work together, introducing procedures that emphasized observation, quick thinking, and compassion. Hospitals were reorganized to be more efficient, able to treat more patients in less time, with fewer mistakes. The palace guards adapted human strategies into their training, learning to anticipate movements, analyze patterns, and think several steps ahead. They marveled at the cleverness of a species so small compared to themselves, realizing that courage and intelligence were more valuable than sheer strength. Liara observed everything closely, absorbing the lessons. She learned diplomacy, strategy, and science, always guided by Ethan's steady hand. Yet she also demonstrated her own strength and brilliance, asking questions, suggesting improvements, and even correcting him when he overlooked something. Their bond was one of equals, a partnership that combined human intuition and alien brilliance into something stronger than either alone. One afternoon, as they walked along a glass bridge overlooking the city, Liara spoke softly. "Human, you show me humans, not weak, strong. Mind, heart, you teach me." Ethan nodded. "And you teach me too. Courage isn't just about fighting. It's about thinking, caring, and standing for what's right. Humans can be small, but our ideas, our heart, our persistence, that is strength." Liara smiled. "I understand. Kingdom, safe, thanks." "Human." Ethan's heart swelled with quiet pride. He had come to Zetherian as a simple human doctor, unaware of the challenges that awaited. Now he had not only healed a princess but helped her become a stronger leader, transformed a kingdom's defenses and healthcare systems, and proven the value of humanity to an entire civilization. As night fell, the twin moons of Zetherian rose, casting silver light across the palace and the city beyond. Ethan and Liara stood on a balcony, watching the calm streets below. The glowing spires shimmered softly, a reflection of the thriving kingdom and the new era they had begun together. "You, proud human?" Liara asked quietly, her voice thoughtful. Ethan looked at her, a gentle smile on his face. "I am proud of what we've done together. You, me, the people of this kingdom. Humans are capable of amazing things, Liara, and now you see it too." She nodded, a silent understanding passing between them. In that moment, there were no barriers between species, no fear or doubt. There was only trust, respect, and the knowledge that collaboration and courage could change worlds. In the following weeks, Ethan continued to expand the partnership between humans and Zalari. Teams of scientists from Earth were invited to Zalaria, bringing new ideas and technology. The palace became a center of learning, diplomacy, and innovation. Humans who were once underestimated in the galaxy now had a place of honor and respect among the Zalari. Meanwhile, Liara matured into her role as princess and future ruler. Guided by both her instincts and the lessons from Ethan, she became a symbol of hope and resilience for her people, a reminder that even the most unlikely alliances could produce extraordinary results. Ethan watched her one day as she addressed a council of advisors, her voice strong, confident, and clear. He realized that the princess he had saved in the jungle had grown into a leader capable of shaping the future of an entire civilization. And he had been part of that journey, not through power or status, but through compassion, intelligence, and courage. That night, as he returned to his quarters, Ethan reflected on everything that had happened. The galaxy was vast, full of wonders and dangers, and humans were often underestimated. Yet he had proven that even one human could rise to meet the impossible, earning trust, respect, and admiration from beings far older and more advanced than himself. He realized that greatness was not measured in strength or wealth, but in action, intelligence, and heart. Humans, fragile though they seemed, had a resilience and ingenuity that could change worlds, and in Zalaria, that truth had been recognized and celebrated. The palace was quiet now, bathed in moonlight, but Ethan knew challenges would always arise. Threats could come from any corner of the galaxy, yet he felt ready, for he had learned that courage, creativity, and compassion were more powerful than any weapon, and that trust, once earned, was a bond stronger than any chain. Liara joined him on the balcony, her golden eyes reflecting the twin moons. "Human. Future. Bright," she said softly. Ethan nodded. "Yes, Liara. Bright because of what we do, what we learn, and how we care for each other. Humans and Zalari. Together anything is possible." They stood in silence for a while, watching the city glow under the moonlight. For the first time, Ethan felt a deep peace. The kingdom was safe, the princess was strong, and humanity had proven itself to a galaxy that often doubted it. And in that moment, he understood that this was only the beginning. A new era had begun, a time of collaboration, innovation, and mutual respect. A time where humans could shine, not through force or power, but through courage, intelligence, and heart. Ethan smiled, turning to Liara. "The galaxy is full of challenges, Liara, but together, we can meet them all." Liara smiled back,